everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. 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 'Cause your love changes everything. Your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing. 'Cause your love changes everything. Your love changes everything. Oh, there's something about your love. Something about your love changes everything in my body. Oh, something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. 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 Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything.
Good morning, everybody. Hold on one second. Hey, there we go. There you are. Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday. I have been having some car issues, but I think I fixed it. So I'll be heading to the office soon. But yeah, let's say hi to some folks. We got Pamela C on here. Good morning to you. Chuck B. Good morning. We're from the Rooted Family. Blessings. Good morning, Dr. Colleen. Bert Reggiani, Pastor Tom, Steve Drew. David, good morning. Yes, we're going to be reading in Galatians 2 and verses 6 through 8. I wanted to pull up Acts 15 as well, because this is kind of where that is taking place. But heads all over the place this morning. So let's read this and see what the Lord wants to talk about. All right, here we go. So right here, starting in verse 6. As for those who were held in high esteem, so this is Paul. Paul has gone to meet with Peter. One second, let's see if you can see me. Paul has gone to meet with some of the pillars of the faith, right? So some of the other apostles, Peter, Cephas, John, James, the half-brother of Jesus, and to make sure that the message that he's been preaching is the same message that they are preaching. And so this is after all of that, and so he's kind of given his summary of what took place. And so as for those who were held in high esteem, whatever they were makes no difference to me. God does not show favoritism. They added nothing to my message. On the contrary, they recognized that I had been entrusted with the task of preaching the gospel to the uncircumcised, just as Peter had been to the circumcised. For God, who was at work in Peter as an apostle to the circumcised, was also at work in me as an apostle to the Gentiles. James, Cephas, and John, those esteemed as pillars, gave me and Barnabas the right hand of fellowship. When they recognized the grace given to me, they agreed that we should go to the Gentiles and they to the circumcised. All they asked was that we should continue to remember the poor, the very thing I had been eager to do all along. And man, so this is so good. And I want to pull out a couple things. First off, apostle. The word apostle means to send. It was actually like a Roman term. Whenever Rome would take over a region or a country or whatever, they would send apostles to not only just capture this region, but actually to make this culture a Roman culture, right? So they were there to change the whole culture of a region, of a place. Hey, Pastor Tom said he pulled up Acts 15 yesterday. Yes, he's saying, Paul is saying, you were sent to the Jews. I was sent to the Gentiles, and so. But I love this. I love the fact that Paul went back to make sure, right? Like, hey, this is kind of important. We're talking about people's eternal destiny. This is the gospel, right? This is the story of Christ. Like, all of these guys end up being martyred for their faith, and so Paul's like, I want to make sure I'm getting it right. I want to make sure that I'm saying the right things. I'm doing the right stuff, and that there's this synergy, right? That we're not divided. That we're not going to start two different churches, right? The church that preaches this gospel and the church that that's preaching this other gospel. Like we want to be one. We want to be not divided. Is his goal, and I just love it. I love it. He comes and he checks, and he's like, no, we're saying the same stuff. We're doing the same thing. They had nothing to add. Like I'm speaking, I'm saying the same things that the apostles are saying. That walk with him, that talk with him, right? That were actually, there when he was in his earthly ministry. I'm saying the same thing that they're saying, right? And so I just love it. I love it. And I feel like all of us, like this should be, this should be a thing for all of us, that we shouldn't just want to go off on an island, or we shouldn't just want to get alone and say, you know what, I got this download, or I got this whatever, and that's it. I don't need to check with nobody. I don't need to go and be in fellowship with anybody. I'm going to be on my island with this whatever that I think I have, and never get it checked. Right, like there's a reason why Jesus says to forsake not the assembly of the brethren, to not be alone. Right, he says the enemy is roaring. He's like a roaring lion seeking out who he may devour. Who do lions go after? The ones that have separated themselves from the pack, right? He goes for the ones that have isolated themselves purposely, right? And it's a tactic of the enemy for us to separate ourselves and to create this division and say, you know what, I got this download. And we have so many denominations, right, today. It's because these guys are like, well, no, I believe it this way, da 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 da, and we forsake one another, and we say, no, I can't do that. I can't do it like them, or I don't want to do it like them. I'm going to do it this way. And Paul and the early church was like, let's not do that. Let's not be divided. Let's not start our own things. Let's make sure that we're in synergy. Like Pastor Tom always talks about homothumadon. Like let's make sure that we're one. And so he comes, he travels. He doesn't just write a letter. Hey, this is what I'm talking about. Like, no, he actually meets with them face to face. He comes and he dwells with them, and they hang out, and they talk these things through. And I just love it. I love it. Like he says that they had nothing else to add. They had nothing else to subtract, right? And that they're saying the same thing. They're saying the same thing. And so it's like, all right, go. I'm going to send you to the Gentiles. I'm going to send you to the Gentiles, to the circumcised. And it's just awesome. It's awesome, and I think it's something that we should take away in our own lives. Like, God doesn't want us separated from any part of Him. All of us carry a facet of the Lord, and He doesn't want us separated from any part of Him. Therefore, we should take up the ministry of reconciliation and be drawn. Even if there's tough conversations that need to be had, man, have them. With the grace of the Lord, He's going to help us navigate through those things. And at the end of the day, be unified with our doctrine, with our lives, so that we're not separated from any facets of the Lord. So I hope this was a blessing to you. I hope this was encouragement. Yes. Hold on. We got some comments coming in here. Connie joined us. Good morning, Connie. Keith, hold on one second. There we go. Wow, Aaron, the enemy goes after those who are separated from the pack. So true. Yes. One second. Pastor Tom wants to jump on in here. Let's see what he's got to say. Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well.
Good. I don't know if everybody can hear me, but
yeah,
I just think you nailed it in that Paul had just finished his first missionary journey, and his concern is maybe he's labored in vain, right? Because the Judaizers were coming from Jerusalem. They were supposedly Jewish Christians from Jerusalem, which he would have had great respect for. but they were teaching the mandatory circumcision and other things, and telling Gentile Christians they weren't going to go to heaven unless they were circumcised and followed some of these laws. And all of that seemed contrary to what Jesus taught him in the desert. And
Yeah.
so I just want everyone to picture that he's got a strong conviction. He's wondering why these Judaizers are following him around. He's wondering why do they call themselves Christians? And like, am I screwed up here? Like, because I still am the apostle abnormally born, right? I'm not the one that spent 3 years with him walking, and how powerful and affirming it must have been for him to reach Peter, and Peter to say, I was the first to speak to a Gentile, and I preached the same gospel to that Gentile that I did to all the Jews on Pentecost, and they received the same gift of the Spirit that they received. And so these Judaizers are creating a conflict that we need to address, and we are saying no to them and yes to the freedom of the gospel.
Oh, your mic went out. Your mic went out. Uh-oh. Some reason your mic can't hear you. Uh-oh.
Hold on.
There
Is
we
that
go.
it?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, we're going to get an echo though, probably. I just want everyone to be aware that this was so human. I'm going to get off because there's an echo.
Was there? I muted myself. There was still an echo. Oh no, we lost him. All right. Well, Pastor Tom is coming back here at 9 o'clock for prayer. So jump on and Pastor Tom, would you reiterate what you were saying? I think I do want to make a funny point. I like to throw some comedy in there every now and then, but I think it's in Acts 15 where. Paul is like, man, I was with Silas and these guys are telling him, he's uncircumcised. Everybody's telling him, he should be circumcised. And he, what does it say? It says he felt no conviction or what was it? I should pull it out. Man, I messed up the joke. Anyways, but he basically said he was not compelled. That's what it was. He's like, he felt he wasn't compelled to get circumcised. And I thought that was just hilarious. Like, who would be compelled? Yeah, I want to get circumcised today. No, don't want that. Um, anyways, that's it, y'all. Yes. All right. So Pastor Tom is going to finish that thought before the prayer. So make sure you tune in at 9 o'clock. Man, we just lost Rumble. That's weird. Anyways, all right, y'all. See you later. Peace.